What's good, folks? You already know what time it is. It's your boy Polo, aka Isaac, aka Young Polo, back with another edition of Polo Talk Sports. I got my updated Heisman top 5 coming to you.
Sheesh, college football has been lit. It's a little top heavy because the NIL, but let's just not get into that. Let's not get too deep into that. Let me get back on topic. So I got my Heisman top 5. I already did a top 5 before the college football season or when the season was very young. And I'm going to do an updated version with my NFL top 5 QBs. I've been doing power rankings. This isn't that. I might do maybe one more final Heisman top 5 video towards the end of the season, but this might be the last Heisman oriented video. But we love the quarterback content, and yes, all of my top 5 are quarterbacks. And let's get right into it. Number 1, we have Hendon Hooker. This kid is special. He's a senior now, University of Tennessee. He's cool with Peyton Manning and all them. And he just turned up the entire state of Tennessee, the entire city of Memphis. They are lit over there. They just beat Alabama, the big Goliath of college football, man. If you beat Alabama, it's like noteworthy. It's happened like 5 times in the last 10 years. It's crazy. Like Texas A&M did it last year, and then we saw when who else beat them? I think LSU obviously beat them with Burrow and the boys. But it doesn't happen often, and so they're off to a 6-0 start. They're now the 3rd ranked team in the country. He has 1,800 pass yards, 15 pass touchdowns to 1 interceptions, about 300 rush yards and 3 rush touchdowns. So the boy's eating. The numbers speak for themselves. 15-1. Come on now, that ratio is nuts. Next up, we got Caleb Williams, the Oklahoma transfer that slid with the boy Lincoln Riley down to USC. Currently a Pac-12 team, but they will leave the Pac-12 for, I believe, the Big 12 or the SEC, one of the two, one of the bigger conferences. And, the Pac-12 will continue to get worse and worse as they have been year after year, especially with NIL. Now let's get right into it, though. His numbers are stupid, too. 19 touchdowns to 1 interception. Come on now. Another 3 touchdowns on the ground, 235 rush yards as well. USC's ranked 12, and they're now 6-1. They just took an L to Utah, losing at the very last second, and that game was crazy. But Caleb Williams did put up stupid numbers in that game. 4 tutties. I don't think he threw any picks. He ate that game, for real. Next up, in 3rd place, we got the boy C.J. Stroud from Southern California, you feel me? But he's balling out in Ohio State. You feel me? It's the biggest thing in Ohio State since Justin Fields, and before that, since LeBron, And he's just hooping. They're undefeated. They're running the Big Ten, Nothing new, honestly, so I'm not too impressed. That's why I got him number 3. But he does have 24 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and we're barely halfway through the season. Mans is eating. 1,737 pass yards. Rushing stats is irrelevant. He's a true pocket passer, even though he does have a bit of athletic ability, so, stay tuned for that. And we'll see when Ohio State matches up against, Michigan, Harbaugh, and Michigan. That's going to be a game. We'll see if C.J. Stroud can continue the pace that he's already on. And, if he gets that dub, that might vault him to 1st place in this discussion. Next up, we got my boy Spencer Sanders. Yes, this is my guy. Giants, New York Giants organization, if you are watching, this is the guy. Hendon Hooker is another possibility, but we already have 5 wins, so I doubt that Hendon Hooker is still going to be on the board. But Spencer Sanders, he's a senior as well from Oklahoma State University, Big 12. He's going to fall in the draft. He's probably going to be 2nd, 3rd round, probably a 2nd-day pick, maybe even a 3rd-day pick. Giants, I know Daniel Jones looks solid. I don't care if we extend him. Draft this kid. He is a playmaker, man. And in the Big 12, they just had a first L to TCU, one of my favorite college football programs. If you know, you know. Horned Frogs, we up. But they are 6-1. They're currently ranked 11 in the country. 5-1, sorry. He has 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1,640 yards, just about. Another 309 yards on the ground with 8 rushing touchdowns. Add him up. He's doing numbers.
And obviously, yeah, they're 5-1 running through the Big 12. We saw what they did to Oklahoma. We saw what they did to whoever they've come across so far. They call it Texas as well, had some talent. They got that dub. They obviously still have Baylor coming up, which is another good squad. I believe they already took care of Kansas. And I think there's maybe one or two other teams that maybe can get in their way, but I think Oklahoma State can win out and get into that Big 12 championship. Well, I'm not sure if they have a rematch with TCU or how that works, but they're still down. They're still bound to have a very good season. Spencer Sanders is putting up stupid numbers. He's dual threat. His persona is him. It's himothy. It's him-like is what it is. He's a leader of men for sure, senior, putting up great numbers. And in the years before this, he wasn't performing this well, but he's making this massive jump, which shows, maturity. It shows that he's gotten better, and it shows that he's ready to, go to the next level. All this college football stuff is, it's whatever for him. He's ready to move on. Next up, we got my guy, DJ Uiagalelei. That's what I'm how I'm gonna say it, Sorry to my Ooses. Shout out to my Ooses, by the way, We live in the Bay, so a lot of Ooses out there. But Oos quarterback similar to Tua, but opposite in so many ways. He's huge, he's 6'4" built, he's at Clemson, he's the processor protege, whatever you want to say, to Trevor Lawrence. So that stress definitely weighed on his shoulders. His first couple seasons, he was honestly looking pretty sorry. That's why we haven't heard much from Clemson college football in the last couple years, because this guy's kind of been selling them. But this year, he's got him back on track. He's eaten 17 pass touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1,665 yards, 337 yards on the ground, 4 rushing touchdowns as well. He got him at 7-0, the 5th ranked team in the country. Clemson football is back. Shout out to my Ooses, DJ Uiagalelei. All the Pacific Islanders stand up. We got another quarterback that's NFL bound. Hopefully he stays another year. If he has eligibility, I think he still needs another year. But he's still going crazy. Maybe if he makes a college football playoff appearance, then that's going to get a lot of drafts, scouts, and around him, and maybe he'll be able to leave for the draft. I still think he should just stay another year and then leave, and then I think he'll be a top 3 to 5 quarterback in that draft class for sure. So that concludes my list. That's my top 5, man. These guys are getting lit. Shout out to college football as a whole, man. And we just lit, man. There were so many good games this past weekend. I know these next couple weekends we're gonna have a lot of bangers coming up. College football, we up. Heisman, we're up. Polo, we're lit. It's up.